You are crossing Red Square when the morning is still doing that thing it does in late Seattle summer, where the light comes in flat and gold, and the air smells like wet grass and something roasting from the cart near the fountain. You have a midterm in 2 hours. You have a library book due today. You have a phone call to your mother you have been putting off for 4 days, because every time you think about dialing, you cannot figure out what to say that is true and also not frightening. You are doing fine. You are more than fine. You are the first person in your family to be here, in this city, at this university, studying the interior architecture of other human beings, and that is not nothing. That is everything. You chose psychology because you have always been the kind of person who watches. You notice the TA who holds eye contact a half-second too long. You notice the guy at the corner carol who arrives before the library opens and leaves after it closes and never checks out a single book. You notice the way confidence performed looks slightly different from confidence actually inhabited. A tightness around the jaw, a beat of calculation before the easy laugh. You are not naive. You have told yourself this enough times that it has become a kind of protection, a wall you built out of self-knowledge and called it a skill. Your textbook has 47 pages of margin notes in 2 colors of ink. Your room in Hansi Hall is 214. There is a photograph of your mother on the desk, taken at a rest stop somewhere in eastern Oregon, squinting into the sun with her hand raised like she is blocking something enormous. You are coming back from the library when you see him. He is at the base of the steps, well-dressed, one arm in a tan canvas sling, and a stack of books has just gone across the pavement. He is laughing at himself in the self-deprecating way that signals intelligence, embarrassment, harmlessness. He asks you, not demands, does not assume, but asks whether you might help carry 1 stack to his car. It is 11 in the morning. There are other students within earshot. He tells you his name with the ease of someone who offers it as proof. His eyes are direct. His voice is calm and pleasant, the kind of voice that belongs to someone accustomed to being believed. You say yes, because you are a good person, because you were raised by a woman who taught you that small kindnesses are how the world holds itself together, because everything about him has been calibrated to feel like 11 in the morning. The parking lot is farther than he suggested. You do not register the distance right away, because he is talking the whole time, easily and interestingly, about a contracts professor, about the gap between what the law says and what it actually does. He asks about your major with what feels like genuine curiosity. He listens in the particular way that makes you feel selected rather than tracked. The September air smells like concrete warming up after rain. Everything is in motion around you. Students, bikes, the diesel exhale of a passing bus. The lot opens up empty on 3 sides. His car is backed into its space, a beige Volkswagen Beetle, which is the kind of detail you file without filing, the way you notice a misaligned picture frame and move on. On the passenger seat, there is a map folded the wrong way, creased against its own logic. The sling on his arm looks slightly loose. You are leaning these small observations against each other without letting them form a shape. He opens the back door. The books need to go in at an angle, he says. You lean in. The door closes behind you. Not slammed. Clicked. The sound is almost polite, a soft mechanical certainty. The driver's side opens and shuts in the same breath, and the engine turns over before you have processed the full sequence. You have not moved. You have not done anything wrong. You are still holding his books. His face in the rearview mirror is the same face, composed, familiar. But something has vacated it the way a room empties when the last person leaves, not dramatically, just completely. The warmth you read in his eyes was not warmth. It was information, delivered to you with precision, felt by no one. You scream. He talks over it in the same even register he used on the steps. He tells you to be quiet. The words are not cruel. They are administrative. The door handle has been modified. You find this out in the first 15 seconds. You find it out again in the next 15. The traffic outside the window continues without interruption. He takes I-90 east toward the Cascades. You are calculating. You are not frozen. You are doing exactly what your training suggests. Staying present, mapping turns, keeping yourself from the kind of panic that shuts the brain down entirely. You note the direction of the light. You count the minutes. You watch for exits. This matters. This is not nothing. You are not passive inside this car. Your mind is fully engaged and working the problem. But you begin to understand, somewhere after the city thins into suburb and the suburb gives way to tree line, that he has done this before. Not as a guess, but as a recognition. There is no improvisation in how he moves, no adrenaline in his hands, no adjustment. You are not a crisis he is managing in real time. You are a procedure he has already run. The fire road where he stops is east of the city, deep into a forest that smells like pine resin and cold water. 47 minutes on the highway. You know the direction. You have memorized 4 turns. The light is dropping fast, that specific blue of Pacific Northwest dusk that comes in like a held breath. Somewhere below and to the left, there is a creak. You can hear it. You keep him talking because you remember from a lecture in March that people who feel witnessed are statistically less dangerous in the short term. You ask him questions. He answers some of them. He is, in a way that you will spend the rest of your remaining hours trying to understand, enjoying this part, the conversation, the control, the experience of being perceived by someone who cannot leave. He says his name again. He mentions the campaign he worked on. He is a law student. He uses complete sentences. He uses the word society the way people do when they mean to sound thoughtful. And then, something happens that your textbooks named but never made feel real until this moment. You understand him. Not as an abstraction, not as a case study with identifying characteristics and a literature review, but as a mechanism you can see operating in real time. The compartmentalization, the grandiosity dressed as charm, the empathy performed so fluently it became indistinguishable from the genuine article until it no longer needed to be. You can see the architecture of it. You can name every load-bearing beam. It changes nothing. That is the part that arrives like cold water. Knowledge is not armor. Understanding the structure of a collapsed building does not lift the debris. You think about your mother in that photograph, her hand raised against the sun. You think about the midterm. You think about the 47 pages of notes in 2 colors of ink and how badly you wanted, above almost everything else, to be someone who understood people. The grief is not loud. It is specific and quiet, and it knows exactly what it is grieving. There is a moment in those final hours that belongs only to you. The narrative does not enter it. The camera, as it were, turns away. What you do in those minutes is yours, and no account will own it. The creek keeps running. The stars begin in the gap between the trees. Your books are found near the library steps the next morning. The ones you set down to help him carry his. Campus assumes for 2 days that you left voluntarily. The missing persons report goes in on the 3rd day. Your roommate gives a description to police. Well-dressed, friendly, possibly a law student, arm in a sling, possibly named Ted. The poster goes up outside the library, in the Union Building, in the psychology department, where the margin-noted textbook is still sitting in your Carrel. In 1975, he is pulled over in Utah for erratic driving. The officer finds a ski mask, handcuffs, and a crowbar in the car. He is convicted of kidnapping. He escapes from a courthouse law library in 1977 by jumping from a second-floor window. He is recaptured. He escapes again from a county jail in Colorado in December of that year by losing 35 pounds and dropping through a hole in the ceiling. He makes it to Florida before anyone catches him. He kills 3 more people in the 48 hours after arriving. He is not executed until January 24th, 1989, which is 14 years, 4 months, and 11 days after the parking lot. His name is Theodore Robert Bundy. He confesses to 30 murders across 7 states. Investigators believe the number is higher. In his confessions, he uses the word entity to describe the part of himself that killed, as though the mechanism were separable from the man. He is articulate in interview. He theorizes himself. He analyzes his own pathology with what sounds like clinical detachment and what is actually just the same performance, repackaged for a different audience, because the audience is always the point. The coverage centers him, his looks, his law school ambitions, his ability to move through the world undetected. The question the world asks again and again in books and courtrooms and documentary series is how a man who seemed so normal could do this. It rarely asks what you saw. In the parking lot, before the engine turned, in the rearview mirror, in the moment the face emptied. In 47 minutes on the highway, you saw exactly what he was. You named every part of it. You understood the machine in full, and the machine was built to be understood too late, because the understanding always arrives on the other side of the door. The social instinct that made you say yes on the library steps was not a failure of judgment. It was the judgment working exactly as it was built to work, by every structure that ever told you a man's discomfort matters more than your unease. That hesitation is rudeness. That helplessness in daylight is proof of safety. He did not overcome your defenses. He was invited past them, one small, reasonable kindness at a time. The creek near Taylor Mountain still runs. Every September, Red Square fills again with students crossing in the gold light, carrying books, noticing things, trusting the world to be what it presents itself as. Most of the time, they are right to. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.